Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Vikings Playbook. I'm your host, Steve Hoikkala. Sunday starts here with Vikings Playbook. Got another great show for you tonight, and I have no other than D Woods from Skol State of Mind joining me tonight. Make sure that you follow D Woods on social media. You can find him on X and YouTube at Skol State of Mind. He's a great listen. I caught just a little bit of his podcast today. It's on me. Hey, summers are for barbecue, right? Just to make you jealous, burn ends tonight. I got burn ends tonight, and that was pretty special because that's my favorite kind of barbecue right there is burn ends. But definitely check out his podcast. I want to say he had 5 different guests on his show this evening, and man, I mean, they're talking good Vikings football over there at Skol State of Mind. So if you're not a subscriber, go over there and make sure that you do that right away. And then, guys, we are going to be doing this, and I'll announce this again, but I think we're less than 25 viewers away. Less than 25 viewers away from having a Jordan Addison autographed jersey giveaway. You can win. The only thing you got to do is go subscribe at Vikes Playbook on YouTube. I think that we're 25 or less subscribers away. So make sure that you're sharing this podcast, getting your friends to subscribe, and either you or your friends may have an opportunity to win that Jordan Addison jersey. And we're going to be doing giveaways all season long. Remember, we have a free card break at the end of this show. So make sure that you stick around, be active in the chat. You can only participate. I can only see your comments, and you can only participate in the giveaways if you're watching and streaming us through YouTube and winning those giveaways all season long if you're a subscriber. So make sure that you guys go ahead and do that. D Woods, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me. You know, I like coming on, vibing with you. Let's get to it, man. Let's get to some football talk.
Absolutely. So, you had 5 different guests on with you tonight. At least when I popped in, you had 5.
Yeah.
I don't know if the screen blew up any more than that, but
yeah, it was a lot of guys on today, man. I do the Saturday scrimmage show every Saturday, man. It's just kind of like
Sure.
a barbershop type situation thing where I bring everybody on and they can kind of get their opinion. I mean, we had some topics that we were going through, but like, it gets crazy because some guys just want to just, you know, express how they really feel, which is cool. That's what it's for, man. And it's just tensions are really high right now with Vikings in training camp. I think a lot of people are not impressed about what's going on and what they're hearing from the team, coming out from Egan.
And we're gonna talk about that. And I'm going out there next week, and I'm scheduling with you, trying to get on your show. I'm going to be on with Rap's coming on with mine, and just taking a look at that schedule. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah.
I got D Woods tonight, but I got Rap coming up next Saturday.
Okay.
After that, I got Dustin Baker coming up August 22nd. But in between there, you and I are trying to work something out. I'm going to be on a Rap show, I think, on the 11th.
Okay.
So I'm going to training camp. I think on the 11th and the 13th next week. So at least a couple different days I'll be out there. So if anyone else is out there, please look for me, say hi. I'd love to get some sound bites from any of you guys that are going to be out at Vikings Training Camp. I'll have my mics with me. So make sure hook me up with a quick sound bite of what you guys think at training camp. Look for me out there. And I'm trying to line up something with D Woods, and you can look for me on Rap Show as well. And Dustin Baker from now at vikesnow.com. Make sure you're checking him out with his new website and supporting that. Dustin Baker does a lot of good stuff out there too. So,
Yep.
All right. So D Woods, I got some good topics. I know that I've seen your post. We're all kind of feeling like the quarterback exhaustion. But we gotta talk about it. And I kind of liked it. The only thing that was missing is, you got the Ben Affleck,
Yeah,
smoking.
that's what I based them on. Yeah, the Ben
And
Affleck
that's what,
thing.
yeah,
Like,
okay, that's what I thought you were going for it. And the only thing you were
Yeah.
missing was, like the cigarette.
the cigarette. Yeah,
The cigarette. And I don't know if you're a smoker. I'm not, but
yeah, me neither.
but it's out there. And yes, we, unfortunately, we got to keep talking about this because, it's probably the biggest storyline in the NFL training camp wise, not just Vikings football. And if you guys haven't checked it out, I had an article out today, and let me see if I can pop up a picture of that too while we're talking about this. And the one thing that I would say, guys, is let me just pop a picture of this and pop it on screen here real quick, and make sure you guys go check it out. I write for purpleptsd.com. We have some great writers over there. Please make sure that you guys are checking it out. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to roll that little ad for Vikings for purpleptsd.com, because we have good Vikings content going every day over there. So please support Brev, as you know, and myself over that Purple PTSD, Kyle Drudry, and some more writers over there. So purpleptsd.com. Make sure that you check that out. Daily, we're giving you Vikings news over there. All right, the next thing I want to talk about, like I said, I posted this article today. And Vikings fans, you don't have to pick a side in the J.J. McCarthy, Kyler Murray battle. You can have a preference. I'm not going to tell you, you can make your own decision. But all I'm saying is go read this article. I think this is good therapy for us as Vikings fans and where we are as a fan base. But go ahead, give that a quick read. I think that you'll probably enjoy what I had to say in there. I think, whether you're on either side of the aisle or you're just one of those fans like myself where I want both of those guys to make our quarterback room better and to make our football team better. And I want to go ahead and thank out Bob Swede, Too Evil, I see in there, Two Toned. Who else we got in there? Two Tones out there.
What's up?
Yeah, I see you. And then Barber Fade Up. Hey, we got the barbershop. Barber Fade Up's in here. Appreciate you. Class, I appreciate that too. Class G33 says any fan who says they don't want to talk quarterbacks is woofing. Maybe not the podcasters like yourself, but the viewers for sure. Yeah, I mean, quarterback is, one of the most important, if not the most important part of any football team. So if you don't have, a good quarterback in place, a good quarterback play, we saw what can happen. Last year we had some other things that played into that, but if you don't have good quarterback play, doesn't matter how good your defense is. We had a top 5 defense last year.
Mm-hmm.
If we had
quarterbacks drive the league, man, that's what
if we had top 15 offense, hey, sky's the limit, right? Yep. I see Delton in the building. Delton,
what up, Dale?
If you're at training camp next week, hit me up, look me up. I'd be happy to see you there, Delton. So that'd be really cool too. All right, guys, we're going to talk about this. We're going to delve into it. I'm going to break down some different things. I made some comments. I know D Woods probably made some comments earlier on his show. We're going to break down some different sides of this. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts too. So as always, make sure that you're following us on X, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. But in order for me to see your guys' comments on this stream, make sure that you're looking at Vikings Playbook, how you're watching on YouTube. So that way I can see your comments. And, of course, subscribe if you want to win that Jordan Addison autographed jersey and be in for our card break later at the end of the show. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to jump into it. And first topic I want to get to, oh, boy, of course. I didn't look through this before I went through. So here we go, right? I got topic 2. Oh, you're seeing it all, guys. All right, topic 1. Here we go. I didn't prepare all that. I was at a barbecue, guys. Burn ends, cornhole. It was fun. All right, topic 1. QB competition of reps. And does it matter? Because I took a look at the stats, took a look at Judd's camp notes, and what he had as a breakdown, just to see, are we truly that far apart? And how do these guys stack up? Now, there's people that say, guys, this is just practice. And you heard Aaron Rodgers say, practice is where you should be throwing in completions. Mm-hmm. So he came out and said, hey, this is where you should be trying new things. So how much does this stuff matter? Whether you're testing to see, hey, can your wide receiver, do you trust him enough to make plays in different spots? Testing your receivers' limits. Can I throw that type of ball to this receiver? That way, in a game situation, I know what their limits are. I know that player's just a dog.
Right.
So I think there's something to that for sure. But because this is a competition, we're going to analyze this stuff, and
Right.
we're going to make different takes on, I don't want to say every single throw, but anytime you see highlights or you see different reporters or people like myself next week, I'm going to make comments about what I saw live. But I think it's always important to realize that, kind of like my article, there are different people that take sides as far as like they want to see a quarterback succeed more than another one. So take it with a grain of salt, just like your politics. Get it from different angles and try to piece
Right.
together yourself. But I'm excited to go there live in person and see it for myself, and then be able to, just kind of step back and say, okay, what did I see? Does JJ look like an improved quarterback as I'm hearing with his mechanics, with his, is he layering the ball? Is he doing some of those things that we wanted him to do last year that he was struggling with?
Right.
Is Kyler Murray able to, fit in with KOC's offense and this style of play? Is he having chemistry with their wide receivers? And what does it look like? So, D Woods, before you even get in that, I'm going to give you a breakdown, and then I want to get your take on this.
Okay.
Now, I have some comments in here too. All right, nothing too much on it yet.
Okay.
I'm hearing this is the new narrative with JJ is because that's a common method to catch up young quarterbacks, having him with the twos. Yeah,
Not really.
that's going to be something we're going to talk about too with the stats. So, all right, let me just pop this up for you. So when we take a look at the Murray versus McCarthy stats comparison, so today, day 9 at camp, total stats, it's really not that far apart, but we are seeing Murray outsnap McCarthy. It's getting closer though. And at least today, you saw that they got even snap counts, which I think is important. They weren't doing that previously, and that's something I've been harping on, is that they weren't real, but McCarthy is getting a lot more snaps with the twos, whereas Murray's getting more of his snaps with the ones. Now, a question I have for you, D Woods, how much does that matter? And do you care because Murray's going up more against first team defense than McCarthy? Does that matter?
So this is how I look at it, because I heard Judd talk about this about a week ago, and I'm not sure the reporter that was actually there where she talked to a rep for the team, and Kevin O'Connell's preference as of right now, even through in this quarterback battle, he basically wanted to give Kyler Murray more reps with the first team offense so he can kind of accelerate him learning it a whole lot better. Because if you think about it, those first team reps with the first team offense, you got the first team, O line, you got the receivers, everybody like that. They already know the offense, so they can kind of hold Kyler's hand and helping him learn the offense a whole lot faster, which I understand. Now, that's just kind of the reasons why I always took things with a grain of salt when we saw McCarthy struggling, because McCarthy was playing against, with the second teamers, second team O line, second team receivers and everything like that, against majority of the time the first team defense. And if we as Viking fans know that our defense is legit and our defense is top 10 for the past 3 years with Brian Flores, that's going to fluster any kind of type of quarterback, right? So, whole thing in a nutshell, I'm not too concerned about the first team reps and the second team reps as of right now. I think that's going to change, because once you get closer to, preseason games and actually joint practices, coming week 2, I think that's going to change. I think this is just a situation to acclimate Kyler Murray a whole lot faster and streamline it, with the situation. But in that aspect, you still see Kyler struggling with the first team. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like it's kind of a catch-22. You get what I'm saying? Like either he does good or he does bad, and it's the same thing for McCarthy. So it's just they're still getting reps. And the thing with the reps too, people have to understand, we don't know what Kevin O'Connell is telling these guys what to do during the rep. You get what I'm saying? Just like you said earlier, you might want to try something out, in practice to get the incompletion and throw interceptions, because you want to try, hey, let me see if I can get it to that spot with that receiver and see if he can catch it, or
timing too, right?
Yeah,
you're working on timing,
all this other things. So like all that goes into play, and it's just kind of hard when you go on X and you go on certain social media platforms, and you only see like, oh, the ball is selling and stuff like that. You don't even know what the defense was playing at that time. It's kind of like if you know how PFF is like it's kind of hard to understand because PFF has their own kind of like analytics and their own formulas on how they look at things, but nobody really knows what the team is actually running but the team. So it has to be taken with a grain of salt.
Now we got some comments, and want to get to some of those, and we too evil. We know. He's on the other side. He's not a JJ fan. He says JJ McCarthy has destroyed the continuity of this team. I think Brian O'Neill would disagree with you.
Yeah. How?
I do think that, would it be nice to see these two guys getting along and supporting each other? I think that'll happen once a starter's name. I think it will be better. Now, if JJ was named the starter, yeah, probably not. A veteran like Kyler, he's probably going to request a trade, but I can see JJ McCarthy seeing the light through the trees, if you will, that there's still a path for him here in Minnesota, even if Kyler is named the starter. And one of the things that I would say is, even if JJ is not named the starter, does that mean that he's a bust and he's a failure? Absolutely not. Not yet. He's only played, if he got beat by a two-time Pro Bowler that started 87 games in this league compared to his 10, I definitely wouldn't say, hey, you're a failure, you're a bust. I think he needs more time to grow. Obviously, this wasn't ideal for a growth situation for him. But I think as Vikings fans, it's important for us to, whoever is named the starter, even though you may have a preference, to rally behind that starter, give them the support. And one of the things that you'll find in my article, JJ McCarthy, I mean, like him or you don't, that kid wants to die out on that field, to be the starter, to be the leader of this football team. And on the other side of it, Kyler Murray. I mean, one of us, if you will. He's one of those. When I was a kid, did I dream of being the Minnesota Vikings quarterback? Kind of like Carson Wentz got an opportunity to play last year.
Yeah.
This guy, and I almost want to say kid because he's a lot younger than me, but he's going to get an opportunity possibly to start in week 1 for the team he cheered for as a kid. And that's a dream scenario. I'm rooting for both of these guys to be able to succeed, and ultimately, I want us to win. So whatever that takes for these guys to push themselves, JJ's going to bring it. Kyle's going to bring it. He's in a contract year and wants to play for his childhood favorite team. You're going to get the best out of both of these guys, and hopefully that brings us success not only in 2026, but hopefully that building us towards the future, whichever one of these guys is going to be our quarterback. That's all I'll say. Minnesota Marshmallow says, can KOC get the most out of Kyler is the question we should be asking. And I think D Woods is on the same page there, and we're going to get into that too. But
it's a tough question.
KOC, yes, that's a very good question. And once a starter is named, and if it's Kyler Murray or JJ McCarthy, you got to start tooling plays around that starting quarterback, especially when you have the type of athleticism. They both do, but the type of athleticism that Kyler Murray has is unique, and he's elite when it comes to that. Marshmallow says we already know what he can bring on McCarthy.
Not true, not yet.
Yeah, I would say not yet. And ultimately, if it would have been Kyler Murray last year, I don't think we would have had much more success than what we did, because I just don't think that KOC managed that type of football player, which Kyler Murray is kind of in that same realm as JJ McCarthy somewhat. I think he kind of would he have tried to mold Kyler Murray into what he's not? Because I feel like that's what he did with JJ McCarthy a little bit last year, and I think he will change this year. Two Tone says JJ will get his chance probably, or maybe sometime this year. In my opinion, I agree with you. Kyler has only been healthy for 1 out of the past 5 seasons to finish it off. So JJ McCarthy and Carson Wentz need to be ready to potentially start. Two Tone agrees with you, Woods. I'm not sure exactly which topic that was, but I'm just glad. Two Evil says that KOC will elevate Murray with his quarterback whispering. He's done a lot of good things, and one failure doesn't make him a failure as a coach either. I will say, we'll see what he's able to do this year. He really needs to adapt to where he was not able to do that, I don't believe, last year. Um, just a couple more comments here. Really not fair for either quarterback to go up against B-Flow. Yeah, but I think it's going to make them better for sure. Bob Swede says, I think Kyler will rock this year. That's just me. Two Tone says, too evil. Yeah, he's laughing at that comment for sure. Who else? Nafo Mythic Plague, welcome. He says, I have said sit JJ and let him learn instead of rushing him out there to turn into a bust. I want JJ to be a success. Yeah, I mean, sitting and developing, that can help him too.
That can happen.
It could. And we don't know. But can Kyler Murray be in the comeback of the player of the year conversation?
No.
I don't know if he applies to that though. Like, because there's different.
It's different parameters with it. Like,
Yeah.
it depends. If they take it as an injury, like, okay, guy came back, or if they use it as something like, oh, a guy that was really at the top of his game, then he fell off and then he came back. I don't know what they're using because they kind of change it every year. So I don't know if Kyler Murray should be comeback player of the year. I think that's probably going to go to Pat Mahomes anyway, because Pat Mahomes got hurt last year and didn't make the playoffs. So Pat Mahomes will probably be the first player to get comeback player of the year. And I mean, I threw this out there about a month ago. I think the comeback player of the year, in my opinion, will be Cam Ward with the Tennessee Titans. Like, that's my pick.
So in the end, reps doesn't matter. In my opinion, the reps does matter. In the way that they're getting reps with the ones and the twos, I think it is somewhat telling as far as who's getting more reps with the ones in any type of situation. That's always something that we look at. We're like, hey, these rookies are getting reps with the ones. You know, that's something that we're like, hey, we're encouraged because they're getting reps with the ones, because that may hint towards, hey, they could get more playing time. I don't think it's any different in this situation either. And I think if it was a more even competition as far as like, hey, Murray should get more snaps with the ones against the number one defense instead of, kind of the other way around. Now, stat wise, I think it's encouraging to see both of these guys, at least with the graphic that we saw earlier. JJ McCarthy completing 68% of his passes. It's still practice. There's still not a guy touching you. But, I want to see it next week. I want to see the mechanics. I want to see, and again, no one's touching you yet. So what should have been a sack? You completed a pass, but what could have been a sack? Would that have been a sack or not? So taking a look at it, are you throwing clean, catchable balls? How many are the receivers dropping? That was an issue that we had last year too. Has that been cleaned up a little bit? At least, from our starting receivers. I mean, it's going to happen with some of the guys that we brought in that maybe are going to be lower on the totem pole or practice squad or cut. But yeah, I mean, Two Tone says, I don't know how the parameters are either, but he did get cut from the Cardinals.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair. And sometimes you need a change of scenery. Sam Darnold needed a change of scenery.
Twice.
Twice. Yeah. 3 times, really.
Yeah, 3 times, really. Yeah.
And now, and he succeeded here in Minnesota and in Seattle after his stops in Carolina and San Francisco after the Jets. So, I mean, it definitely can happen, and maybe that's all Kyler needed, and maybe all JJ McCarthy needed is more time to develop. We don't know that.
I think they botched the whole situation with JJ.
They did. They absolutely did. But now we're here.
I say that, I understand hindsight is 2020, but if you actually think about it, like a lot of the franchises, they protect their young quarterback draft picks. Like, they insulate them with not just a system of with players or good coaching. They make sure they have the veteran in front of them so they can actually learn from. I think that when the Vikings went out, they knew that they were going to draft a quarterback in that draft. But I think the first priority should have been locking up a veteran that you could start, that you can start maybe 2 to 3 seasons. The biggest mistake they made within that all season, in my opinion, is not giving Sam Darnold a 2-year deal and locking him up. And I know some people out there would be like, oh, Sam Darnold wasn't going to sign that. But you got to understand, during that offseason, Sam Darnold was a backup that didn't really play in San Francisco. And you offer him the starting job. If you give him what 15 million a season for 2 years or whatever, something like that, he more than likely at that time would have took that deal because he was going to be the starting quarterback. And then you draft, let's say you still do draft McCarthy, number 10 pick, then you would have had that luxury of sitting him not 1 but 2 years and not having to worry about Sam Darnold. And that's kind of similar to what a lot of teams do when they want to insulate their quarterback. Look at one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now with is, Pat Mahomes. They drafted him, traded up for him, and he sat a whole year, under Alex Smith. And then when Andy Reid felt he was ready, he let him loose. Like the Vikings could have did that too, and they kind of botched that whole situation, in my opinion. And I do understand hindsight is 2020, but if you actually look at it, that's where they messed up at.
One thing that I always go back to, and you talk about them messing up is in my mind, and this is going to haunt us for a little while, until we get our quarterback situation figured out. But when I think about this image, not that image, this image.
Yeah.
After that win over Green Bay,
right,
those guys rallied and loved that guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was their guy. He was that dog that came in that, everyone, kind of threw away, didn't think he could do it. And he came in and had it, he was great for that one season that we had him here in Minnesota.
Right.
He was great. Now, obviously, we had issues in the playoffs there.
Right. But that's granted. That was his first time in the playoffs. Like it happens, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know if it was a crazy idea, if it was a Kevin O'Connell idea and his ego, where maybe he felt he could get McCarthy ready within one season. But if you really actually look back at it, like that's the mistake that kind of put us in the situation that we are in right now. Because I feel like McCarthy, he wasn't ready last year. We all seen that. And then he got hurt again. And if you have Sam or any other quarterback that you locked up for multiple seasons during that offseason when Kirk left, maybe the meniscus injury for McCarthy never happens. Maybe the injury for McCarthy, during last year against against Atlanta never happens. You get what I'm saying? Because he's not playing, and then you could slow cook that guy in the background where he can learn everything, work with his mechanics, and do everything like that in the background. But the other aspect of that is too, though. You got a lot of people out there that have this philosophy that, oh, when you get a rookie quarterback, you got to have him play as soon as possible because quarterbacks are highly expensive and you want him to be playing on that rookie deal right now because it's cost effective, right? And you want to get the most out of it. But if that quarterback isn't necessarily ready with his production on the field, you're really wasting it anyway because look at what we went through last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like you got to do this right. And I just think they botched this whole situation with these quarterbacks, man.
Absolutely. Hey, Vikings fans, if you want some good custom wood art for your fan cave, go no farther than that'sbadasswoodart.com. Vikings Playbook is brought to you by our podcast sponsor, That's Badass Wood Art. Go to their website and use code PLAYBOOK to receive 10% off on any products on their website. That's pretty badass. Not to mention, if you want to go ahead and check out the memorabilia at Sports Legends USA, they have different Legend Sports autograph signings that are always going on that they promote. And they're also making the push for this year. Again, different legends trying to get in the Hall of Fame. But, obviously it's near and dear to my heart, Chuck Foreman. We got to get Chuck, the spin doctor, in the Hall of Fame this year. Adam Schefter made a tweet today about the rookie class. Adrian Peterson's part of that eligible class this year. I would love to see Adrian get in he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. In my mind, he's at least in the top 5 of greatest running backs to ever play the game. And, Chuck Foreman, there's a recency bias that's out there, a recency bias that has plagued the ability of Chuck Foreman. And yes, he had a shorter career because of the knee injury, but for the time that he was playing, especially during his prime years, not only did he transform the back position, running back and fullback, because he played fullback.
But Gale Sayers is there.
He did it during an era that, running backs, fullbacks weren't meant to be receivers. He led the league in receptions. Rookie of the Year, finished top 4 in MVP voting twice. He was the LaDainian Tomlinson, the Christian McCaffrey before that was a thing. So he laid the groundwork for that type of back. And I think as Vikings fans, we have to be loud. We have to be proud to try to push legends like Chuck, like Marshall into the Hall of Fame if we want them in there. And we need to try to make sure that the Vikings organization, PR team, helps to get behind it because they play an instrumental role in trying to promote our players to get in the Hall of Fame like Chuck Foreman. And they need to step up to help do that in my eyes in order for players like that to get in. But Sports Legends USA, they do a great job of trying to promote our Vikings legends and also connecting our legends with the community. And check out their merchandise shop as well. The Vikings Playbook Podcast is brought to you by SportsLegendsUSA.com. Check out their website for all of your Minnesota Vikings legends, upcoming appearances, and signings. And remember to use code PLAYBOOK for 15% off in their shop for your favorite merchandise. Sports Legends USA, connecting sports legends with fans, one legacy at a time. All right, guys, time to move into our next topic and segment that we got, and it's going to be topic number 2, the rookies. Can we declare yet that Rob B, not Kwesi, but Rob B cooked? Did Rob B cook, D Woods? Because we got at least, is it too early to declare that he cooked? Obviously, we got to see these guys on the football field, but at least early on, right now in training camp, we got Gold Day that's shining. Caleb Banks is healthy. The foot's not an issue yet, right? We got Dominique Orange. We'll see if he ends up being the stopper, the run stuffer that we drafted him to be. Charles Demings. Is he an absolute dog? Is he an absolute find for the Vikings in a steal in that draft to where can he be that? I mean, in man-man coverage, I mean, he is getting hyped up lately, especially with his ability, at least where he's made some wild plays covering players like Justin Jefferson and getting him a little bit riled up. What are your thoughts on the rookies? And do you think Rob B might have actually cooked in his one draft?
I don't know yet. The games haven't played yet. Like I don't know. I just feel like we do this every year with training camp with young players as Viking fans. We start picking guys that's, playing with the first team and they're making plays, and then we get to the season and we don't see them. So I'm not finna get too high or too low on these guys. I hope they contribute because this defense does need younger emerging players, to fill the needs all over the defense. But I am not going to come on here and be like, he cooked because we don't know yet. It's too early. It's too early, man.
I want people to bookmark it, D Woods. Declare. No, I'm just I'm with you.
Brad was just getting on me earlier because he was talking about Chuck Demings is better than Xavier Rose right now. And I was like, come on, man. Like, don't stop it. Stop it, man. Like, I hope they do good because that's the thing that's been plaguing this team for the past 4 seasons is not having any kind of youth develop on this roster. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens with this team when the actual games count. Because we know both sides of the ball, Brian Flores and Kevin O'Connell, like to play their veterans. So,
yeah, a lot of the comments that I'm seeing in the chat right now, and I appreciate you guys being active in the chat, by the way, like what we're seeing or at least hearing. Yeah. Some of you guys are actually at camp and seeing this as well, too. And I'd love for you guys to send me some clips if you're at camp of you just commenting of what you're seeing in your opinion. I think that'd be cool, too. So definitely send that my way. DM me. Send me that. But, guys, I think it's good to see that we're rotating these guys in early. I think right. I don't know what it was. Maybe the last, I don't know if it was the draft classes. Maybe they just weren't good enough to try to start early. But it seems like our rookies in the past, we never got them work in with the ones, and it didn't seem like it was ever going to be. Even when Justin Jefferson came in, remember that initially he was not a starter.
He's not starting like a third game.
And
Yeah.
why?
Well, he said I'm not sure the podcast he was on. He said the reason why he didn't start the first couple of games of his career is because he did not know the playbook, and Mike Zimmer
Sure.
was really big on that. So Mike Zimmer made him wait until he knew what he needed to do out there before he threw him out there, and
Yeah.
then you saw what happened when he knew what he needed
Yeah,
to do out there.
absolutely.
So
And I think we just saw that a lot with a lot of our rookies where we would draft these guys and then they'd never see the field. So it's good to see that we have rookies, especially rookies that we drafted in the first 3 rounds, seeing meaningful reps with the first team, seeing that they may be projected to play a major part in this season, and to see players like Charles Demings be somebody that was maybe might have been seen by draft experts as a whatever pick.
yeah, flyer.
But guess what? He may be a future starter for the Vikings, or at least a key player for the Vikings in our secondary. And I think that's cool to see, having somebody that can potentially be in the heads of an opposing wide receiver and maybe frustrate him, I think is a great thing for this team. And, D Woods, Jake Golday, they're talking about, can we play him at defensive end and make him like a, Andrew Van Ginkel type? And,
Yeah, I think he's an inside guy.
yeah, I think he's an inside guy too. And you got to look at Blake Cashman's in his last year,
Mm-hmm.
and you got an aging linebacker core. Eric
Eric
Wilson,
yeah,
he's in
he's
a
in his
2-year
30s
deal.
already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So Jake Golday, I don't like moving him to the edge. I mean, if he could play there in certain snaps, I think that's fine. But I want to see him be a meaningful rotation linebacker piece because he's a future starter for us at linebacker, and I
Right.
think he needs those reps as well in the linebacking piece. I would have liked to have seen us bring in Jadeveon Clowney. That didn't happen. I'm still hoping that we have a
Hassan Reddick.
solution. I'm hoping we have a
Yeah.
solution. And even the signing that we brought in, Jamal Adams.
I didn't like it.
I had people that were giving me guff saying he's a linebacker now. Well, we're seeing him play 3 safety looks in practice. They're also trying him there, and that's kind of what I thought that the Vikings would do with him, is make him more of a hybrid, because what he does great is blitzing,
Mhm.
blitz packages. So where he
Right.
can be dangerous is putting him in those type of situations, because at this point, yeah, he didn't sign a league minimum to come be a starter here with the Vikings.
Right.
He's could it evolve into that? Yeah, it could possibly happen. But right now, I think he's seen as a rotational piece and as a weapon in blitz packages. Brian Flores loves the blitz, and you can disguise him and maybe put him in linebacker situations and in 3 safety sets, either as breaks for certain players on this defense, and
That's Metellus.
and it just confuses you when he's on the field, because now, if I'm Brian Flores, when I put him on the field, does a quarterback know if he's playing a linebacker role or a safety role? You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's one of the biggest gripes I have of Brian Flores' defense is all the hybrid players and all the interchangeable pieces and all the players to where you feel like they have to know every position. And when you get to the point of where you have a highly talented offensive team, especially with a good offensive coordinator and a good quarterback, they seem to shred Brian Flores' defense, especially through the middle. And I think sometimes you just need somebody to smack somebody in the mouth in front of them. And sometimes that scheme stuff does not work. Because if you actually look at Brian Flores' defense the past 3 seasons, when he goes against guys like Matthew Stafford and Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, players like that, Jared Goff,
Mm-hmm.
not just last year, like they tend to struggle because they don't care about all those checks at the line and all those disguises. They kind of know the holes in his defense. They know where to go. And that's one of the reasons why I do like this rookie class because I feel like this rookie class are able just to not scheme, but just beat the guy in front of them. Like that's what football is. Like you can only scheme so much, but when you have to get a stop, you just got to beat the guy in front of you, and that's something that the Vikings have missed, for the past couple of seasons. I mean, Brian Flores' defense has been great on paper, but look at what happened in the playoffs against the Los Angeles Rams. Like Matthew Stafford shredded us up twice in 1 year, you know, and showed it Jared Goff. And then Caleb Williams had his way last year. So it's like the jury is out. I respect Brian Flores' defense, but I'm just kind of like I'm kind of sour on all these hybrid players playing these positions because when it comes down to it, like if you look at Josh Metellus is okay, but he can't really cover and he can't really play deep safety. So who is the guy on this team that's going to play deep safety, or are we just going to get beat over the top, or are we just going to rely on the pass rush to always get home? You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So the corners like Chuck Dimmons, it showed that he can play one-on-one coverage. We haven't had that for the past 3 seasons. These guys been playing zone.
We've heard some decent things about Jacoby Thomas, and we'll see
Yeah,
if the third round pick is able to make an impact and maybe fight
hope
for a
so.
starting role as well too, or being an impactful rookie. Dell has a good point. Delton's talking about Adams playing safety has more to do with Smith being retired, and
Yeah.
I thought so as well too. Is that the Vikings don't feel confident that Harrison's going to be back at least to start the season. Now, when I had Kyle Sloter on the show, he thought, it could happen during the season. Maybe once, he sees, what this team looks like, especially under center at quarterback, what this team's potential could be. Does he think, hey, we could, let's make one more run? We'll have to see. But I think it'd be really cool to see Harrison come back one more season. I think that just adds to what kind of defense we can have because there are some questions in that secondary in the safety
Right.
position. So I'm just saying I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just saying, hey, there's some questions without Hitman there, and bringing Adams in. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. I get it. He's not what he used to be, but he's still a very experienced and he's still good, a good player against, with the blitz.
He can play
You
in the
know,
box.
he can play in the box. So he can definitely do some of those things. So I am encouraged by our rookie class. I would say confidently that Rob B, at least right now at training camp, he's got an A so far, training camp wise. We'll see what these guys look like when we actually get into regular season games. Even if we get to see some of these guys in the preseason, once they're hitting guys, what do they look like toe to toe against opposing teams?
Yeah.
So I think we're on the same page, D Woods.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see approach, man. I'm just
Absolutely.
waiting to
Same
see,
here. But I think we can be encouraged,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's always a positive thing.
It's a better trend in the right direction. I will say that. And I think like the way the roster is built the past couple of seasons, it was bound to happen where you have a draft where you're gonna go defense heavy, especially your offseason where you go defense heavy, because it's like there's so many exits on this defense for the past couple of seasons, and you have to fill those holes. You can't just, always try to patch it up with free agents. And that's one of the reasons I do like the draft class is because now you got guys that's going to be with this team for multiple seasons and maybe develop versus guys like Jonathan Allen and Hargrave who are coming in to be mercenaries. And then if that doesn't work out, you're stuck with the cap hit on the books. So
Guys,
that's
I'm going to give a shout out because we're getting closer to the end of the podcast. So make sure that you stick around to the end of the show. Stick around for a chance to win. Make sure that you're on YouTube. Subscribe to Vikes Playbook. In the comments, you're going to have a chance to win. We're going to do a card break here coming up soon. So make sure that you're logged in. If you're watching on X right now, switch over to YouTube so if you have a chance to win. We're less than 25. I haven't updated, but we're less than 25 away from that Jordan Addison autograph jersey that's going to be going out to one of our YouTube subscribers that I'm going to give away live during one of the podcasts. So make sure that you're subscribed to win. Share this podcast. Let's grow it. After that, I'm declaring another giveaway. and another follower subscriber goal that we have to meet. So make sure that you stick around, guys. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump into the next topic. And it's one where D Woods, I kind of gave you a little bit of an assignment. And in return, you're giving me an assignment back. So I think that's an encouraging thing. I go to training camp, and I want you, because I'm going to come on Skol State of Mind, and you're going to give me an assignment of what I need to look for or what you want me to look for and be your eyes and ears at training camp to bring back to your podcast. So you're assigning me homework on your top 3 things that you want me to look for. We're going to take a look at D Woods' list that he's got for me going to training camp. So taking a look at, I need to get rid of that. See, it's buried in my mind.
Boy Sam.
All right. So these are the things that D Woods wants me to take a look at. He wants me to look at, are the young guys, rookies, are they really going to contribute in the season? What am I seeing from the rookies? Do you want to expound on that one at least a little bit?
So for the rookies, we just went over with it about the defense, right? So I want to make sure that the rookies are going to contribute this season, and they're not just playing with the first team to give the older guys a breather. You get what I'm saying? Because I understand it too. Like when you have training camp, the days are long or whatever, you kind of want to give your older guys more of these rest days before the actual season starts. So I just want to make sure that these rookies are coming into camp and they're contributing, and they're actually are going to contribute down the line. That's on offense and defense. And even if guys are not rookies now, maybe, you can throw in there like your Ty Feltons and stuff like that. And, your undrafted free agents, like all these young guys, not just rookies, all these young guys, we need them to contribute because this roster needs a youth movement as soon as possible. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I want to see, because outside of the quarterback, I know the quarterback situation is the biggest topic surrounding the Minnesota Vikings and yet the whole NFL. But if we can get some of these young guys developing in the background, we can foresee a bright future ahead of us.
Number 2, how does the QB play look, and does KOC shoulder any blame if it isn't improved?
Yes. So my thing is this, though. We talked about this a lot on my podcast for the past couple of weeks, though, and we throw the fact of the matter is that Kevin O'Connell has this complex offense with, people coming in, and even veteran quarterbacks like your Kyler Murray's, your Sam Darnold's, your Kirk Cousins all have a problem with this offense. And now the report from training camp is basically, if you look at all the reports, not just the podcast guys, not just the content creators, if you look at the Kevin Seafords, the Will Raggett's, and all these other guys that are actually there at practice all the time, and even Judd Zelgad, they will keep telling you that the quarterback battle is not too far off. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just saying with Kevin O'Connell at this point right now, I'm not saying you have to, I don't want to get to that dumb it down situation again, but is he to blame for some of this quarterback play as of right now? Because Kwesi is not here anymore. Kevin O'Connell, they handpicked Kyler Murray to be the veteran quarterback. So if this doesn't work, like, we got to have a conversation about KOC, in my opinion.
All right. So the next one you want me to talk about, or you want me to look for, is vision for the organization.
Right.
Is it a winning formula for football for this organization? Talk me through what you're really looking for.
So what I mean by that is this, and this kind of goes with all 3 topics, right? This put everything in perspective. Now, the vision for the team is like, this is how I see it. The Minnesota Vikings have been looking for a franchise quarterback for the past 35 for the past 30 plus years, right? And I think they've got one thing right during this, I would say 25, 30 years. They have always gotten the receiver right? You got your Chris Carters, your Anthony Carters, Randy Moss, Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen. They've always got the receiver right. I think the philosophy from the organization at the top might need to change. Instead of overvaluing the receiver on the team, maybe they should, in turn, before you have to pay that receiver, flip that and try to get you a quarterback, because we know quarterbacks run this league. Like, if you want to get you a Pat Mahomes, you want to get you a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and stuff like that, you have to be at the top of the draft. So all I'm saying is the philosophy that the Vikings have right now, we're paying so much for, for receivers and trying to, thread the needle with a quarterback. Is that philosophy flawed? Because we've been doing it for the past 25 years.
Yeah, I think that's always something is can we, what's the formula to get to the big game and win? And obviously we gotta build this team, and have the right pieces in place. Obviously, the one that you have to get right first to really have a shot is you got to get the quarterback right. Now, there have been teams that have done it without, the guy, and you've just been that dominant as a defensive team, and you've been able to, power through and get some of those wins. But, Joe Flacco with the Ravens. But, can we do that and build and put the right pieces in place to actually get to that next step, which is getting over the NFC Championship hunt? That hump for us has been, that's been terrible, and then obviously we're 0-4 in the Super Bowl, right? So,
right.
What's the vision, and I think we have a lot of the right pieces. We got to capitalize why we still have Flores, and, our defense is there. I think we're putting pieces. We focused on it in the draft. We have a lot of weapons on offense. We have a lot of free agents coming up after this year.
Yes.
Did we do enough by bringing in Kyler Murray, this quarterback competition? Can KOC massage the playbook enough to match the strengths of whoever is starting at quarterback, and we can stay healthy? And, we'll take a look at all that stuff. And what does it look like?
Massage the playbook, because everybody says dumb it down. Massage the playbook sounds a whole lot better than dumbing it down.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to use that next time.
So this is my homework from D Woods. And if you want to catch these three things that I'm looking for D Woods and I are going to talk about it on his show, Skol State of Mind. We'll set up a date and a time for that coming up. And so make sure that you're tuning in. Shout out to Purple Dopes Podcast and Brev. He heard me say Charles Demings, and it's like the bat signal. He just shows up whenever Charles Demings is mentioned in Viking social media. Brev is there to
he
drop.
Said the curse is dead. We got to get to the title game first and win the title game for the curse to be over. That's how the curse is over.
Well, that's Brev for you. Brev's always he's been the biggest Charles Deming fan, and I hope he's right. I hope he's right. So, very cool stuff, guys. I think we're getting there. We're going to be doing a free break here. Oh, I have one college team. I apologize. I did this wrong. I forgot to change this part. It's pick one NFL player. Sorry. Let me change the graphic while you guys are thinking about who you guys are going to choose. So make sure that you're putting in the chat who you think I'm going to pull out of this 2025, and I'm changing it as we speak. Pick one NFL player and put it in the chat, and you have a chance to win. And I'm going to be pulling out of a 2025 Donruss pack. So go ahead, put it in chat. Once someone picks that individual, you cannot choose that player. Okay, so make sure that you choose wisely, and at the same time, do not choose someone that somebody already put in chat. If they choose it first, they get the individual. If there's any conflict, I'll decide the tiebreaker as far as who gets the individual of how I see it on the screen. Jake Anderson is already going with Mahomes. I seen Jalen Coker coming from Brev. Daniil Hunter from Fig Nuts. So we're seeing some different players come in. Make sure that you choose those for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, coming up, guys. Coming up. All right. D Woods, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to give you an opportunity if you have any last things that you want to talk about before we do this giveaway. And if you want to join, you can go ahead and pick your player on screen if you want as well too. But guys, if you're not already following, I need to get rid of this. Follow D Woods, Skol State of Mind on X and on YouTube. D Woods, thank you so much. He's
No
awesome to
problem.
have on.
Anytime, man.
He's a
Anytime.
wealth of knowledge. Vikings football. I love hearing him talk and the passion that he's got. Make sure that you're following him if you're not already. D Woods, you have the stage. What else do you want to say to our followers out there?
All right. The pass is popping. Training camp is here. We're about to get a game next week. Now, I understand the quarterback competition is the biggest talker right now, but there's other things going on with this team behind the scenes that we also need to look at. All right. I'm not a big Jawan Jennings fan. I'm not, because I think he's too slow for this offense. He might be a great blocker. So, who can actually push him with that wide receiver three? I am so happy to see that Ty Felton is doing a whole lot better this season. I told you guys out there that Keenan McCardell was going to get him right. I mean, do I have to say the names Keenan McCardell has worked with in the past that receivers have looked good in this league? I mean, there's a lot of things going on with this team in the background. Let's not focus so much on the quarterback, because I know that's polarizing. I know it is. But in order for this team to actually, be successful during the season and in the playoffs, we need a cohesive unit. So it's time to lock in, Viking fans. It's right around the corner. It really is. We start the season, with two divisional opponents. We got to play against the Pack, and we got to beat the Bears. And we can't stumble, the beginning of the season. We can't start the season 0-2. I can't. I'm not even cool with starting season 1-1. So
we get a Micah Parsonless Green Bay Packers to start the year.
You have to take it, and it's an early Packer game at that, not like a late Packer game. So I mean, even if it's at home, like, we got to take care of business, man. Stack these wins, and if it is a quarterback competition you want to talk about, I just want to give you guys some advice. There's a lot of good reporters out there that are calling it even and that are in the building every day. Do your best research and look at it from different point of views. That's all I got for y'all, man.
All right, guys. To get in that free card break, pick one NFL player, get in the card break. You still have time. Aaron Jones is now off the board. That's going to Eric Slund. Who else we got, guys? Drake May, Bob Sweet goes. That's a good pick. D Woods, you want to pick a player? Could be a big card we pull.
Chuck Demings.
He's not going to be in the pack. This is 2025.
Okay.
Somebody who played last year.
I just want to mess with Bram so he couldn't pick it.
All right, guys. We got 8 cards. 8 cards coming on this pack, so there's a good chance to win. Give me a 2025 player.
2025 player. Let's go.
Caleb Williams just went off the board to Timothy Slack. That's a good one, too.
Let's go Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. Picks the enemy. All right, that's interesting.
That's my fantasy quarterback.
Brandon Aubrey, Vikings Wild Wolves going with a kicker. He didn't want to go with Will Reichard. Also interesting. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
all right, here we go, guys. We're going to go ahead and do this rip. I appreciate everybody joining in on this. Barbara Fade Up sneaks it in with JD5 at the end. Once I start ripping, guys, picks are off. So I'm watching the screen. If anyone slides in, they can get it. All right. Odunze is, I think, who Delton wanted. That's a good one as well, too, with Rome. All right, here we go, guys. Doing the rip. Interesting. This is not opening great. This is not a good start here for me. There we go. Other end opens a lot better. All right, let me look where I'm at here. Got to flip it around. All right, very first card.
Tyrone Tracy?
Tyrone Tracy. Nobody picked Tyrone, but it's a base card. Tyrone Tracy for the first one. Oh, I do see a nice card in there. I don't know exactly what that one is, but slide her down. See a Patriot. Is that Travion?
Travion Henderson.
Oof. Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh, Ramondre Stevenson. Okay.
All right. So nobody picked Ramondre. There was a Drake May, so Patriots had us on the watch here. Dylan Gabriel goes next on the rated rookie. It's not a Shadur. Nobody went Browns. Ooh. All right. We got to wait. We got to go from the back here. We'll save that one for the last. Oh, we go Malik Neighbors next.
Another giant.
Okay, Malik Neighbors. Got to keep pulling from the back here. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it off screen for you guys so I can go to the front. I'll save that one for the end here. We got Travis Kelce. Ravens. Nobody went Ravens. Isaiah Likely.
Another giant.
Man, nobody went there. Trying to keep this straight for the camera is hard at this angle. I apologize. Another Brown. Woo! That's Myles Garrett. Oh my gosh. You guys are going to hate this. Not this one. Because this was the one I was hiding. You guys are going to hate yourself for this. I feel awful about this. Nobody went with Justin Jefferson.
Oh!
On the Action All Pros. This is a Vikings podcast. Nobody went with Justin Jefferson. On the Action All Pros. Man. That's going in my PC, boys. Maybe that'll be a giveaway here coming up, too. We'll see. Nobody went with Justin Jefferson. Man. No Jettas. No Jettas. And that was the big card in that pack, was the Justin Jefferson. Oh, man. Oh, man. It's not a numbered card, but it's a sweet-looking Action All Pros Justin Jefferson. You know, I pulled a Randall Cunningham the other day just on a pack. So pretty cool stuff whenever you get a Viking card, but it's even cooler when it's an insert parallel type card. Mm-hmm. So absolutely sick. Awesome, guys. I want to send my appreciation for all of the followers, everyone that tuned in, adding comments, joining in on the chat and the giveaways. We'll be doing that all year. Again, guys, we're close on the Jordan Addison autograph jersey giveaway. We got to get to 250. We were at 225, 226 to start the podcast. So we're close, guys. We're close. All you got to do is send this show out to your friends that are Vikings fans. Get them tuned in. Let them know about the giveaways. They have a chance to win. You have a chance to win all season long with Vikings Playbook. Another shout out to D Woods. Thank you for joining tonight. No problem, definitely appreciate it as always.
Whenever you need me to come back on, man, just
stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned. I'll be on with Skol State of Mind here in the future. I got Rap, the vocal Vikes, going to be on with me August 15th after I get done with my training camp. Next week, I'll be at Vikings Training Camp a couple days next week. I'll be on with Rap and probably Skol State of Mind somewhere in there too. We have to set a date and lock in for both of those. I got to set times. And then Vikes Now, Dustin Baker, he'll be on with me August 22nd. So stay tuned for all those podcasts. Make sure that you stay tuned with us. Guys, this has been a great show. D Woods, thank you so much. Appreciate it as always. Vikings Playbook Sunday starts here. I'm Steve Hoikkala. Skol Vikings. Until next time, guys, have a great weekend. Appreciate you.